In the NFL, when the temperature drops, the stakes rise. On a frigid night in Pittsburgh, the Dolphins were trying to keep their playoff hopes alive. A loss would mean elimination.
The Dolphins' 4-game winning streak has been powered by their ground game, 192 yards per game over that 4-game winning streak.
While the Steelers, dressed in their color rush uniforms, looked to remain undefeated at home on Monday night since 1991.
All we gotta do is be disciplined and dominant today. If we do that, we're gonna be all right.
22 consecutive wins at home on Monday Night Football.
A win would put the black and gold at 2-0 in December and keep them atop the AFC North.
Here we go. This pass is caught and that's a touchdown. That's the way to work. Come on. He's hit that sack. The Steelers win the football game. Let's go. Come get it. You know what it is.
This one is in the history books.
Here we go.
Welcome to the 84 Lumber Mike Tomlin Show.
Hi, everybody, and welcome to the 84 Lumber Mike Tomlin Show. I'm Missy Matthews. Coming off their victory in Baltimore, the Steelers were looking to stack wins for the first time since October. And they had an extra day to prepare for the Miami Dolphins to come to town, which is never a bad thing coming off an AFC North game. For much more on the Steelers' big Monday Night Football win, let's welcome in Bob Pompeani, who's standing by with Coach Tomlin. Bob.
Hey, Missy, thanks very much. We are here with head coach Mike Tomlin after a big win on a Monday night. What is it about Monday night and you guys? 23 wins in a row at home on a Monday night.
You know, it's a great venue. We got a lot of respect for the primetime ball and what that means historically, playing in front of your peers and everyone. I just think it brings the best out in us as a collective.
I know you're a humble guy. You don't want to talk about this, but I do because you've moved to number 10 all-time in most wins, ahead of Dan Reeves. What does that mean to you?
That's the first I've heard of it. I don't think a lot about it. I certainly have an appreciation for history and so forth, but, you know, there's so many challenges of the day and our next battle. I think sometimes it's disrespectful for me as a leader to view things through that lens because the players' careers are very short and it's a big year. And so all of my energy and time is kind of focused on that and obviously trying to be world champions this year.
You took another step in that direction with a big win. Let's talk about first. You've had a lot of experiences this year, Coach, talking about stopping big run games. Jonathan Taylor was here. The Bears, you had success there. You had another one this week with Devon Achane. What was the secret to stopping him? He got his average yards per carry, perhaps, but they didn't get bulk yards.
You know, we won third downs, and so when you win third downs, it limits their opportunities to establish that rhythm. And so that was a significant component of it, certainly. And you're right. Well, I think we've seen all 4 out of the top 5 rushers in the NFL so far, other than Bijan, and certainly we got a big one coming up this week. Had a lot of respect for the run that A-Chain was on, man. But more than anything, I think it's about possessing the ball and winning possession downs and thus limiting his opportunities to find that rhythm.
But defensively, not only that, but you got a big pick by Asante Samuel Jr. One of the reasons why in your postgame you seem, again, very happy that he was available and he's made a difference right off the bat.
Yeah, he's a global starter. I mean, if he's healthy, I'm sure he has a job and, on opening day and things of that nature. But sometimes, you get presented with challenges, and thankfully for us, he was available to us. And he's been a breath of fresh air, man. He's highly competitive. He wants to put his hand in the pile and help us on this journey, and we're thankful for it.
Let's talk about fourth down. For the first time in your career, you had 3 for 3 and fourth downs in the first half of a game. Was that part of the mindset against this team that you wanted to establish it early and go after it?
No question. To the point that we were just talking about earlier, you punt those balls, you give that ball back to A-Chain and company. And so it's usually multi-phases trying to engineer victory or try to limit a certain component that's really producing victory for your opponents. And make no mistake, the Dolphins' running game was a main catalyst for their 4-game win streak. And so a component of minimizing that and engineering victory for us is maintaining possession of the ball. And so makeable fourth downs, particularly early, were a significant component of the plan.
You guys have embraced the tush push of late too, and it works.
Yeah, Connor's done a nice job with it. Not only him, but just all parties involved. They're really tight with the way they're officiating the concept these days in terms of people being stationary and being legal. And so those guys deserve a lot of credit in terms of detailing it.
Earlier in the season, we talked about just, third down coming out slowly. You guys in the last couple of games have doubled down both times. Score at the end of the first half. You did it again to start the second half. We talk about it all the time, but really, how pivotal is that no matter who you're playing?
The opponent doesn't matter. To be able to book in the half or get things started in a way that lets you know, that lets your opponent know that you're there is a big component of the competition, particularly at the latter part of the season, man, where we're all obviously fighting and posturing for positions, man, and opportunities to do so are getting scarce.
And 4 possessions in a row after a slow start result in touchdowns. Can you feel that momentum going as this started to unfold?
I did. Man, the guys worked really hard last week. I thought we had a good week's prep. We had an additional day, and you always feel good about that from a strategy perspective. And so I certainly wasn't surprised when the movement of the ball and the scoring got a little bit more fluid as we got comfortable in terms of the matchup.
We were looking also in history, and it's hard to find these numbers out, but you had 2 tight ends rush for touchdowns in this game. Not many times have we talked about that.
That's kind of obscure. I imagine that won't happen again anytime soon by us or by anyone else. But I'm thankful for the guys that we have. As we've talked about all year, our tight end group is a diverse group in terms of talent. Darnell Washington is a point-of-attack blocker. Muth is a zone killer. Jonnu is a run-after guy. Connor is a jack of all trades. And really, you saw all of those things on display last night. You saw Muth killing things with the zones. You saw, obviously, Jonnu running with the football. We threw him a screen, and he got us a first down, ran through some tackles. He did an awesome job on the touchdown. Darnell is Darnell, and Connor showed his versatility as well. And so I'm thankful for the diversity in that group, and it's our job certainly to utilize all of their talents and skills in an effort to produce the type of game we need.
And it was a production that resulted in a big win for the Steelers. When we come back, Mike Tomlin will talk about Detroit. Next up, they're 8-6, a high-flying machine. Missy will talk about what they've done well on offense and what the Steelers need to do to stop it when we come back.
All right, Bob, that sounds good, and they certainly do a lot of things right. That's why the Detroit Lions lead the league with over 30 points per game this season. But before we talk Lions, another congratulations to Ben Roethlisberger, Marquise Pouncey, and Joey Porter, who were inducted into the Steelers Hall of Honor last weekend. Steelers Nation gave them a warm welcome on a chilly night at halftime on the Monday night win over the Dolphins. The Mike Tomlin Show will be right back.
Welcome back to the 84 Lumber Mike Tomlin Show.
The Steelers' Monday night performance marked a first for the season. Pittsburgh ran more plays than the opponent. Winning the time of possession battle is one of the main reasons why they were able to hold Miami's ground game in check. And to do it again on Sunday, it won't be easy. For more on the Detroit Lions, let's send it back over to Bob and Coach. Guys.
Hey, Missy, thanks very much. 2 8-6 teams go at it on Sunday, 425 KDKA. The Steelers trying to secure a division title along the way, and Detroit right now is a desperate football team. They have a lot of weapons, but, Coach, they're 8-6, and they're in a division where they right now are in the 8th seed in that conference looking up. Desperate teams this time of year are tough to play, I would imagine.
We're all desperate. I don't view them as any more desperate than the Pittsburgh Steelers, to be honest with you. It's that time of year. The roads get narrow, and your opportunities to position yourself are getting fewer. Certainly, they're a talented group, and certainly they're in a hotly contested division. But I'm less concerned about their story and more concerned about ours. It's a big game for us. It's a big road game in a hostile venue, and so we're really excited about it.
Well, let's talk about their offense, because this is where it starts with them. You got Jahmyr Gibbs, you got David Montgomery. You faced, as we talked about earlier, some of the best run games in the league. This is a unique one. They complement each other well. 21 combined rushing touchdowns, not even to mention the passing game. Where do you start with them?
Thankfully, as you face all these top-notch running groups, you start to feel a mode of operation in terms of what produces success. And certainly there'll be some carryover opportunities relative to A-Chain last weekend. Man, he's an awesome perimeter runner with sprinter speed. He ran track at Texas A&M, and you can say the same thing about Gibbs. And so there'll be a carryover component, but certainly there's some things that they do differently than others. Can't say enough about Hank Fraley, their offensive line coach and run game coordinator, because it's beyond the backs. They got a definitive personality, and I've been around long enough to remember Hank as a player. Those guys play like he played. He has developed that group in his image in terms of being gritty and finishing and playing with a real combative demeanor, and I got a lot of respect for it.
Jared Goff also is a guy, traded to this franchise, and ever since they've had a lot of success, and he's good at protecting the football. I noticed with 5 interceptions, with 29 touchdowns, and he doesn't make those bad throws. How much pressure do you need to get on him? Also being mindful of their backs coming out of the backfield.
At times he gets the ball out so quick, you're not afforded an opportunity for pressure. And so you got to find as many ways as possible to be disruptive. You got to bat passes, you got to mix up your coverage strategies, zone, man, simulation, pressure, etc. It's not just purely about rushing when you got a quick decision maker like Goff, and he certainly is that. He's got to be one of the top decision makers in the league in terms of time to throw. But that's aided by the multitude of weapons that he has, starting with St. Brown, who is just spectacular, along with Williams. They're a formidable tandem. They move both of those guys around in an effort to create advantageous matchups. The backs are a component of it as well. He just has a lot of tools at his disposal. He's been within that system of offense now for a number of years, and you feel that comfort and continuity, not only in him, but everyone that he works with. And that's why he's completing 70% of his passes with not a lot of negativity. And so we got a work cut out for us in that regard, but I'm excited about it because, as competitors, man, that's what you covet.
Yeah, this is a team that averages 30 points per game, but they've also given up some of late. I know they've had injuries to their secondary. It seems like teams are targeting that weakness. Is that an invitation for you guys to do the same?
It certainly appears so. I know that they've absorbed a lot of attrition in that space, first at the cornerback position and then more recently at the safety position. They went out and required some veteran players in their secondary in an effort to bridge the gap. Maybe this is the week that some of those guys get more playing time. Guys like KZ, who played for us, signed with them a couple of weeks ago. Arthur Millette, who played for us a number of years back, signed with them a couple of weeks ago. And so they're going through what teams go through when they experience attrition. They make adjustments. They acquire fresh talent in a similar ways that we've had to do some things with Duggar and Pep and people like that, and Ashante over the course of the season. It's just a component of this business, and their ability to adapt and pivot and get the new players acclimated will ultimately determine their success. And so we got respect for their process and how they go about it. I love Deshae Townsend, the former Steeler, as their secondary coach and pass game coordinator. I know the type of coach he is. I'm sure he's doing everything in his power to kind of get those new guys up to speed. And so certainly it's been a challenge for him over the last 5 weeks, but they have some things in the hopper that have us on alert as we walk into this stadium, certainly this weekend.
And they have some disruptors too. Aiden Hutchinson is back. He can get after it. But what about Jack Campbell? You just saw Jordan Brooks, who's one of the best in the game. His numbers are even better.
Jack Campbell's a monster. He is. I enjoyed getting to know him. Obviously, we've got some Iowa guys on our team, and I was at his pro day and took he and some teammates out to eat, and he's just a high-quality leader and football man. You feel that not only when you're around him, but you feel it when he's around his teammates. And that's one of the reasons why we take collectives out to dinner. We love to feel the group dynamics, and make no mistake, when that collective came out of Iowa, man, he was the ringleader. You felt it, and he's doing similar things in Detroit. He's got great football character. He's smart. He's tough. He's a good blitzer. He's a highly productive tackler. He is the straw that stirs their defensive drink, certainly.
All right, it's going to be a marquee matchup coming up on Sunday. Steelers and Lions from Ford Field in Detroit. When we come back, the all-important keys to this game. Missy, back to you.
All right, Bob, thanks. Yes, it should be a good game. Well, the Steelers are 6-12 in Detroit, but they've won 3 games in their last 4 trips to Ford Field. And coming up next, Merrill Hodge breaks down how Jahmyr Gibbs is so efficiently used in the Lions offense. This week's Playbook is coming your way right after the break.
Welcome back to the 84 Lumber Mike Tomlin Show.
Show off your black and gold knowledge with Immaculate Prediction, the Steelers predictive game that gives you a chance to win some great prizes. Here's one of the Week 16 questions. Will the Steelers record at least one interception on Sunday? Yes or no? Just head over to the Steelers mobile app now to compete for this week's first place prize, an autographed Aaron Rodgers jersey. Good luck. Well, the Lions have a two-headed monster when it comes to their running game. In terms of Jahmyr Gibbs, he's fast and explosive. Plus, when he scores a touchdown, the Lions are 8-0. And when he doesn't, they're winless this season. Here's Merrill Hodge with everything you need to know about Gibbs.
Hi, everyone. Welcome into the UPMC Rooney Sports Complex for the Playbook, presented by Microsoft Copilot. All right, the Detroit Lions, their offense. Now, we could pick one of 5 players that are a concern, a problem with this offense. But if you had to pick one, you got to pick Jahmyr Gibbs, and here's why. It's easy to get him the ball, and he can go anywhere on the field. That's a problem. And just to show you the challenge this will be for the Steelers, I got to just show you a few plays and how important it is that you at least neutralize him. You're never going to stop him from getting the ball. You just got to stop him from getting big plays. So first play, look at him here in the backfield. Now, it's easy access when you're in the backfield. They're going to run a flare to the left, but I want you to watch not just Jahmyr and how he runs in the open field, but how they go about as a team blocking. So as we snap the ball, Jahmyr's going to go on a flare. This ends up being a run because the ball is stolen behind. But as he catches it, I just want you to see how people are accounted for. You got big offensive linemen out there, handle linebacker blocked. Wide receivers run them off, tight ends run them off, but they turn around and block. Once he catches it, you got people accounted for. And the other concern, once he's in the perimeter and running, you got to tackle him. You can't go up and just try to hit him because he's a physical guy too. He may not be that big, but he's a physical guy. So you got to make sure you tackle him. And they'll run him inside, they'll run him outside, but in this particular play, they give you the illusion that he's coming inside. And as we snap the ball, you'll see how everybody collides. Everybody's got good blocks here, but they pull the guard. Now, when you get him inside, you can see all the defenders are focused inside. They've lost track of him. Once they gain track of him, you got a blocker and you got Jahmyr Gibbs. So that's a problem. Unless you have 3 or 4 guys out there, he's going to win, because with the blocker leading him, he's going to get his guy, and it's over. And then the other problem, he's a matchup guy. You know, you put him in the slot. Now, this ends up being a zone, but it shows you how good he is as a runner. He's very savvy, he's smart, got great hands. So as he snapped the ball, the inside receiver pulls the zone coverage open, and he does a great job of delaying it, finding the opening, and then getting the ball. You know, it's a 10-yard game. Those hurt you. Those are devastating. So in this game, even though I have said it, this is the goal. You're never going to stop him from getting the ball. It's too easy to get the ball. You just got to keep him from getting those big explosive plays on you.
And you can head over to the team's official YouTube page to catch all of Merrill's playbooks. Well, the Steelers still have a 1-game lead over the Ravens in the AFC North. Pittsburgh hasn't won the division since 2020, and to do so, they're going to have to keep winning until they meet Baltimore one final time in Week 18. For more on how that can start happening tomorrow in Detroit, it's time for Keys to the Game presented by your neighborhood Ford store. Let's head back one final time to Bob and Coach. Guys.
Hey, Missy, thanks very much. You know the assignment with those guys in the backfield, Coach Gibbs and Montgomery, but you have a very special backfield as well. In fact, I'm speaking on behalf of Kenneth Gainwell's agent, Aaron Rodgers. He thinks that he deserves money, and he has been money for you guys, hasn't he? I assume he's one of the keys to this game as well.
He certainly is. Kenny's been an awesome addition. And we experienced what he was capable of firsthand. We played the Eagles a year ago, moving toward the latter part of the season when things were the road was starting to get narrow. Saquon was playing so great that he took up all the oxygen in the room. But if you were playing that group, you saw the talents of Kenny Gainwell. He kept alive 3 significant drives in that game against us by making plays out of the backfield on third down. We just had a lot of respect for that. We also noticed his impact on special teams. He covered kickoffs for those guys and had 7 or 8 kickoff tackles. He returned kicks, and so it made him a very attractive option for us. And he's done similar things for us. Whatever we ask him to do, he's proven to be capable. He returns kicks, he covers kicks, he plays out of the backfield, he runs the ball. A couple of times when Jalen's role has been diminished for whatever reason, doubling, he played a big game. He played a big game on Monday Night Football. He has just proven how capable he is, and I certainly am happy for him, but I also am happy for us because we certainly have needed that contribution.
One final thing about Aaron Rodgers, because that performance the other night was sort of a masterclass, the way I looked at it. The arm and the mind are still very much workable, especially the mind. How much of a factor was that in the win last week?
Very much so. You know, you don't even have to have game circumstantial conversations with him. It was late in the game. We chose a misdirection pass on third down. You didn't have to tell him throw a completion or take a sack because we want the clock running. He just knows to do that. And that's just the benefit of having a guy that's played at the level he's played at for so long. It helps us in so many ways, not only in terms of the plays and the decisions that he makes, but just the way he uplifts others and educates others and raises the tide for all parties involved.
Coach, all the best to you in Detroit. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
It's a friendly venue. That's Ford Field, where the Steelers won a Super Bowl. We'll see if the magic continues this Sunday at 4:25. That's going to wrap it up for our program today. Thanks for joining us. Our thanks to Mike Tomlin, Missy Matthews. I'm Bob Pompeani. It's the 84 Lumber Mike Tomlin Show. We'll do it again next week. We'll see you then.